You're listening to Blues and News with Brother Jacob, and I think that was Every Day of Your Life by Jimmy Johnson. Yes, indeed. And before that was, let's see, Little Angel Child by Jimmy Dawkins, who also we celebrate him and his birthday passed this week as well, yesterday I believe. So we salute him as well, the late great Jimmy Dawkins. And before that was I Used to Be a Millionaire as well by Jimmy Johnson. So I'm going to go to the live line now because I know you all have been waiting for this, and we will definitely get to it. Let me get to this live line and see if I can make this work. I want to get here and talk to my very special guest this evening, legendary blues guitarist and artist who's recorded with Alligator and Delmark Records and many and quite a few other record labels at that, and has had an illustrious career, comes out of a musical family. I'm so happy to have you with me, Mr. Jimmy Johnson. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I got you by the hand.
All right. How you doing today, Mr. Johnson?
Well, to put it like this, I'm doing about 95 and a half.
Well, all right. Tell me this, how have you been holding out? How have you been holding up during this whole COVID-19 quarantine? How have you been holding up?
It's a real drag because so many things that you can't do, and I'm used to getting up and getting around, just stay in the house and look at the four walls and watch the TV and play my guitar, play my piano, and then I get bored with that. There ain't nothing left to do.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know what you're being safe, and I understand that, and we all got to be safe out here. Oh my goodness.
Well, what you have to realize, the numbers are there. You can't take them back. And where I am, it took a long time to get here, but I still want to go much further. And with that virus, man, my chance might not be too good.
I understand. I understand completely. I'd like to, if you don't mind, Mr. Johnson, I would love it if we could talk a little bit about some of your upbringings. And so I read that you were born down in Holly Springs, Mississippi. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. And you're one of your younger brothers is Seal Johnson, who I know everybody knows Seal Johnson. And
yeah, I talk to that rascal today.
And we all love Seal Johnson.
Yeah, well, me too, because it was 6 brothers, and me and him are the only ones that's left.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
And I am the oldest brother.
Wow. Oh, and you had another brother by the name of Mac Thompson. Am I correct? Who was a bass player?
Yeah, well, our name is Thompson, but he wouldn't change his name. So he wanted to stay Mac Thompson. But our name, both of us are Thompsons.
What? So tell me this. So I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to get to that. How did that name change happen from Thompson to Johnson?
Well, I'm going to make it short as I possibly can. But still, he had a band, and no record company, I guess, didn't recognize him. I didn't want to record him. Him and his band got together, scrapped up their money, and they made a record. And when they printed the labels, they printed it out wrong. And the little record made up a lot of noise. So now he was stuck with Seal Johnson. So now I'm his brother. If I go say I'm Jimmy Johnson, Seal's brother, I get more gigs.
Wow. And it's stuck. Ever since then, it's worked. Ever since then, Jimmy Johnson, right?
Well, you ever hear tell of getting in on the bandwagon?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I did. I jumped on the bandwagon. Because he was a big star guy, you know what I mean? But by me being his brother, that's how I got my first gig.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
still got a little brother over there, man. Because they always think I'm younger because I look much younger than him. And he's a little taller than me, so they figured I was the younger brother. So that's why they hired me, because I was Phil's brother.
Wow.
My first gig was July the 4th, 1958.
That is remarkable. Woo! I can't. So, and I want to, and I definitely, so I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to ask you more about how many years you've been out performing. And, before I get to that, Mr. Johnson, I'd like to know a little bit, when you were growing up, what were some of the artists that you were listening to growing up down in Holly Springs, Mississippi? Who were some of your favorite artists that you were listening to?
Well, I don't know about the famous or favorite, but I can tell you some of the people I listened to: Hank Snow, Hank Williams, Grandpa Jones, because that's all they played on the radio. And then finally they got 15 minutes on a radio station called WDIA out of Memphis, and that's where I would listen to. And where I would hear was B.B. King, Johnny Lee Hooker, and Sonny Boy Williams.
Wow. Oh, those are some.
And Muddy Waters, too, because that's when Muddy Waters, the Muddy that I really like when he played by himself, solo.
Absolutely. You talking about the real deal blues.
Right. And Johnny Lee Hooker the same way. I'd rather hear him doing solo than hear him with a band. There's quite a few artists I know like that.
Absolutely. Wow. Did you when you were at what age did you decide when did you decide or figure out that you had a musical talent and that you wanted to play music?
Well, what happened was, you know how economically down in Mississippi you didn't ever have too much. And I was in Memphis from 16 to 19. And my uncle came down on vacation, and he lived here in Chicago, and he sent me a card and asked me, did I want to come back to Chicago? And do I? Oh, my goodness. So I came back to Chicago, and I didn't have no problem finding no job because my uncle was a good worker, and he told me, this is my nephew, he need a gig. When you want to start? So 2 or 3 days I was here, I had a gig. And I worked as like a welder's helper for about a year, and then after that I became a Class A combination welder. So I was making a lot of money. I didn't care nothing about no music. I'd make a lot of money and get me a new car every year, and I was straight.
I heard that.
Well, you know how it is. They like, if the rich boy get a new car, I don't like that color. But I came up with nothing, man. What are you talking about? I was so glad to get me a car.
Woo-wee.
And get me a couple of good suits. Oh, man, that was a real dream come true.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so at what point did the blues bug bite you? And because I know you talked about your first gig was in 1958. When did you decide that you wanted to start performing?
1958.
Oh.
No, I did. I sang gospel then from 8 years all the way up. Because the first time I went on the stage to sing, I was 8 years old, singing solo, and I played with a bunch of gospel groups, and then I sang with a doo-wop group. But what inspired me to play music, Magic Sam moved next door to me, and he was pretty young, about 14, and he had an old guitar. And he didn't have no strings on it, so I had money. I bought him some strings for it. And about a week later, I listened to him. Man, this cat can play.
Woo.
And he was a star at 15. I guess you know that.
Absolutely.
So, okay, and I would go to gigs with him, man, just crowds of people just screaming. I said to myself, you know what, I can do that. So in January, I bought me a guitar and I enrolled in a school. And July the 4th, I couldn't play it well, but I had a gig.
That's all right. The gig is that's what matters. Wow. That is amazing. And your brother, Mac Thompson, played bass for Magic Sam for quite some time, too, right?
He played bass with Magic Sam probably 20 years.
Woo. Woo-wee. Remarkable. And I know I was reading somewhere that you were also childhood friends with Matt Guitar Murphy. How did you two...
Matt Murphy, we grew up together and went to school together.
Oh, what was Matt Guitar Murphy like as a classmate? What was he like?
Who, Murphy?
Yeah,
he was a cool cat. But me and him was buddies, but he had a bad attitude. He'd fight in a minute. Me and him was buddies. I let him take up for me and fight for me. He was a boxer and a wrestler. You ever see him in person?
I didn't get the chance to. No.
Well, he had muscles that you wouldn't believe.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, we was good buddies. We played baseball. You know what shooting marbles are?
No. Tell me, what is that?
No.
You said shooting marbles? Oh.
You be on the ground, you make a ring, like where you shoot from, and then there's another ring inside where you would shoot and knock the marbles out the ring. As long as you made a marble, you keep shooting.
Yes. Okay. For a minute I thought I misunderstood you. So, but no, shooting marbles. Okay.
Well, you know what that is. Mostly everybody know what that is.
Yes, indeed.
But now the country people are only because you play it on the ground. So in the country, in the city, where you gonna play marbles at?
Right. And so, well, okay. So let me go back up to Chicago for a second. So you are up here in Chicago. I know you played the blues with Slim Willis. Did I read that correctly? You were playing the blues with Slim Willis for a while?
That was my, we call him Harmonica Slim. His name was Slim. I don't know if it was Slim, but his last name was Willis.
Okay.
Because the first gig I told you I had, the 4th of July, I don't remember exactly who it was, but it was supposed to be 3 days. Like Thursday was the 4th of July, then that Friday and that Saturday. But I played that first night. When I went back, for that Friday night, the guy told me, man, you ain't really cutting it. So we got this other guy with it from the neighborhood, Odell Campbell. He played with Sam a while, too. But anyway, he was kind of like one of these guys. He could play well, but he never had a guitar. He never had an amp. He was always missing something. So I got fired. So then Odell came to me and asked me would I loan him my guitar. Let him play on my amp. I said, any other case, man, but in this case, no, but you're taking my gig. But that didn't bother me because I told you I had plenty of money, a welder. So I just went back home and practiced, and that was about maybe 2 or 3 months later, I got the gig with Slim Willis. And he told me, well, man, you ain't really good on the guitar. You got good potential. I'm going to keep you. Because now what I could do was sing. I didn't have to learn how to sing. And I would help his gig so much with me singing because a lot of women would come out to hear me sing. So it made him draw a crowd.
Oh. Well, I know he definitely appreciated that. Now let me ask you a question. So can you talk to me a little bit about when you were performing back in the late 50s and the 60s, as you think about your experiences just performing and as an artist, what are some things that you would say were different back then when you were performing for audiences versus now? What are some changes that you've seen on the blues scene?
Well, naturally, when I first started out, we played what we call it chitlin circuit.
Yes.
I played for all black people. We didn't hardly ever play in white clubs back then, because I remember some cats was playing in Calumet City, and they had to play behind the curtain. It kind of loosened up somewhere in the 60s. Do you know what started it?
What started?
Muddy Waters went to England and played for the King of England. So now the white people want to, wow, he must be all right. He played for the Queen of England. So that brought our music over, what we call it, crossover.
Absolutely. And so
But now when I first started playing white club, we wasn't allowed to associate. When they hired you for the gig, they would tell you up front, you can't socialize. You stay in the dressing room. If they didn't have a dressing room, they had a special table. You have to go sit at that table. You can't be blasé and all over the place.
Woo.
But I didn't care, because over in the white club, I made $40 and $50 a night. Now, this was in the 60s. And in the black clubs, I made 15. What would you do? Now, I don't care about socializing. Let me play and pay me the money.
Wow. I understand. I completely understand.
Well, you know the game. It was probably to protect the women. Don't want you to get next to none of them women.
Absolutely. Well, now let me ask you this, because as I think about when you were working back then, I know you've worked with some of the greatest artists. I know you've performed with Freddie King. I know you were working with Freddie King a lot, and Magic, and of course Magic Sam. But also you talked about the chitlin circuit, and I know you were working with Otis Rush and Otis Clay and Denise LaSalle. And
Yes.
when you were working with all these great, and I know there's more than that, but all these great artists, what were some lessons that you learned, or any notable experiences that you had with any of these great artists? Anything that stood out, maybe lessons that you learned while working with them?
Well, mostly gigs like that, there's some ups and some downs, and you just have to take the downs with the ups, because it's not always you're going to be treated like a musician when you play with them big stars like that. You just part of the furniture.
Ooh.
Well, I'm telling you, that's the way it was. But now when I started playing with the blues guys, it was totally different. They respect the guys that's playing guitar over there. But when I was with my brother and Otis playing him, I wasn't nobody.
Ooh.
They wanted to see Otis Clay. Well, now we were playing the chitlin circuit, and you know how we are.
Yeah, I know.
We're some different kind of people.
Yeah. You're right about that.
Actually, it sounds kind of bad to say it, but you know what? It is what it is. They don't have the type of respect for an artist like white people do. If you play well, you will get respect. But for them, if you ain't got no hit record out there, you ain't nobody no way. I don't know how, would you say, what they live with by status today. Because if you get a hit record, now you Jesus Christ. But when that record dies, you die with it.
Ooh.
But with the white club, Like Chuck Berry didn't have a record for 30 years, and look where he was.
Right.
He always was Chuck Berry. And also, did you know who, come on, baby, let's do the twist. Chubby Checker.
Yes.
He never had but that one record, and it kept him moving all his life. Now, that wasn't the first time. Who wrote that song and sang it first was Hank Ballard and the Midnighters. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Well, which stayed on, it didn't cross the track. When Chubby Checker did it, it crossed the track. So they just took it as Chubby Checker's song.
Wow.
I don't know if he's still living or not, but that song kept him out in the world entertaining. But with blacks, if you don't get a hit record in 3 or 4 years, you're going to die with that record.
Ooh. Ooh-wee. Well, let me, now.
You knew all of that.
Well, I do like to think.
Well, let me tell you. If it look like a duck, walk like a duck, and say quack, quack, it's a duck. So, you can't change the way people think, because look how we think today, man. The way we think today, how stupid is we kill each other over nothing.
Ooh.
But guess what? Do you see the white people? You ever see a white person, somebody drive by and shoot them?
No, I do not.
It just don't happen. And look, okay, I've been playing at Legends 30 years. I played at this blues. I know you knew about blues.
Absolutely.
I played there 42 years. You never saw no fight.
Mm.
And in the Black Hood, man, I saw many fights. I don't know why we think like that. We don't. But now, back in the day, when I was real young, we was growing up, you probably came along at a later date. Man, we had brotherhood. We did not harm each other. Back in the 40s and the 50s? No. And down south, what we worried about, stay away from the Ku Klux Klan.
Absolutely.
Not worrying about your brother going to shoot you. But nowadays, man, you be walking on thin ice at all times. But you can't go through life being scared. I still go through life being happy. Just hope I don't run into some of the hoodlums at the wrong time.
Right. Absolutely. What? Go ahead.
Where you live? South side?
Right now, yes, I'm on the south side. Absolutely.
Well, you know how it is. But guess what? You have to deal with it. You can't change it, can you?
No.
You don't like it, but you can't change it.
Absolutely, you're right. Oh my goodness.
Do you have my record, the one that say the street you live on?
I think I do. I got it. I got it somewhere in the archives. Yes.
Well, play it for some of the black folks, because that's what I did it for.
Okay.
If you're born in the ghetto, don't sit there and cry, because there's a way out if you try. The world is so much bigger than that little street you live on, because that's where I think the brothers make a terrible mistake, fighting about turf, and they don't own nothing.
Ooh. You telling the truth. You are telling the truth.
Well, I wish it was different. And there is a way they could probably change it in about 3 or 4 generations. There ain't no quick fix.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. You're right. It's definitely not a quick fix.
Yeah, me and you both probably wish that it was different.
Say that again. Me and you probably say that one more time.
You and me probably wish that the people in the world today was different.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We definitely need
But here's
peace.
what I always say. the only thing you can do, the only thing I can do, which I always do, I do my part to make the world a better place, and that's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me. So, let me. I want to ask you about. I want to ask you about. You were talking about when you mentioned the chubby checker, do the twist. I want to talk about a song that you wrote. I when I was reading more up on about you, I learned that you actually wrote and recorded the first version, the original version of "Don't Answer the Door," which I know.
You know what? I lived off of that, but it wasn't me. That was another Jimmy Johnson. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Really? Oh my goodness! So
No, it wasn't me.
that
but
wasn't you.
I let it be me. I learned how to sing the song just like him. If I'd go to a gig and they thought it was my song, I would get a gig.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Well, you have to live in this world. I didn't choke nobody or steal nothing.
Right.
Another thing is, just like I said before, I got on the bandwagon.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh my goodness. So, okay, talk to me this. Tell me about this. I want to know at what point, so when you were working with a lot of different artists. What point did you decide that you wanted to go solo? Like, what was it that ultimately made you realize you wanted to go solo and have your own band?
Well, I should have did that way before I did, but I was just satisfied being a guitar player. And on the road with some of them cats, man, it really wasn't no picnic. Because some of the cats I worked with, man, I didn't have nothing going nowhere, and I would have to quit because I couldn't put up with, they didn't treat you well. Simple as that. So then I stopped playing for a minute. Then I decided, well, man, you can play and sing for yourself, but you can't record no record till you write songs. Because you go up there recording B.B. King's 3 o'clock in the morning, that ain't gonna make it.
Right.
You have to come up with something original when you're first getting out there.
Absolutely.
And when people write songs, they ain't gonna bring it to you. So a good song, you're not gonna get it. B.B. King gonna get it. So that's what I had to do. I just sit down and start to writing.
Absolutely. And so speaking of writing, when you start writing and making music, how do you go about, what is that, I guess, what are some of the things that you really like to write, but also what helps you get into that creative mode? You know how sometimes we get writer's block. What is it that helps you get into the mode of creating music? And because I especially want to talk about this most recent release that you have on Delmark Records called "Every Day of Your Life." What is it that helps you get into the mode to start writing? Are you able to sit down and start writing, or how does that work for you?
Well, writing is not really easy. You can sit up and write a song and look at it and listen to it. You got to know how to listen to yourself. No, that ain't that. Boom, throw it in the garbage. To come up with a good song with what we call a hook, you got to get a hook. And if you get a good hook and then you put the words with it, and you might have a song. But what you were saying is, how do you get past this putting that neck putting that knee up on your neck? Because you little fish in a big pond, so you're going to have a hard time. Because, man, I have some songs that I wrote I thought was good, but they didn't go big because they didn't play them on the radio.
But you've had
a lot of records totally original is, man, I have some pretty good songs. You just don't have them.
Absolutely. Well, and I know, and you've had some. I know that you've. I know when I really love your album, The Barroom Preacher.
That's a pretty good album.
Yes. You've got quite a catalog of music and some great original tunes as well. Can you talk to me a little bit about every day of your life? And I'd love to talk about the title track of that album, Every Day of Your Life. What inspired you with that song? Can you talk to the audience a little bit about that song that you wrote?
Well, a lot of songs you write, some people say, how do you write songs? You write songs different ways, man. Everything, you can't write songs just one way. But the way you write, did you ever know Doc Lee? The Dick Jockey?
I've heard of Doc Lee. I didn't know Doc Lee.
No, you didn't know him. Well, okay, we leave that one alone. I was just going to tell you something he said, and it inspired me to write a song. But now, every day of your life, I used to take my aunt to this place. He was a chiropractor, and he had up on the wall, live every day of your. He had some other quotes, but live every day of your life like it's your last, because one day you will be right. And I just come back home and made a song out of it.
Wow. I like that. We like that song Every Day of Your Life. That's definitely, I like it a lot. So I definitely think that is a terrific song. You've got that whole CD that you have is really great. And I just want to say that to you.
It's fairly good. Man, I have some very good records. You just haven't heard them. But you do have a good one if you got Barroom Preacher. Some of the rest of them are pretty good. And I guess you see, when I write, I don't write too much. It's blues, but it's my kind of blues.
Absolutely.
Because to write other blues is kind of tough. Because you have to write the way your mind goes. You can't go up there and I can't do what you would like for me to do or do things the way you do them. I have to do it my way. And when I write a song, I just cannot, play Thrill Is Gone music and put some words on top of it. No, it don't go like that. The whole thing got to be original. Did you ever listen to My Ring on that record?
Yes, I did.
Well, did you see the progression on that? That's not really blues, but it's my blues.
That's right. That's okay. It's got a nice reggae style too, but it's good. I like it.
If you listen to the story is about that first wife I had. Man, was that a nice man. She was real. She was still, right today, I would say she was a nice woman. She still is a nice woman. But man, she had no idea about being married to a man. She wanted to be my mother.
Ooh.
And the day I got married to her, that's the day she changed. She would hook me. Nice woman. Then I married her. All of a sudden, you hear tell her putting your foot down.
Oh, no.
She put her foot down.
Oh, no.
So that's what made me write that song. The day I gave you my ring, everything changed.
Wow. Woo. I know a lot of people that can relate to that. I know a lot of people that can relate to that a few times.
Well, let me tell you. You know who Bo Diddley is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's all the artists I used to be with, because I played festivals all across Europe and all, everywhere. But now I ain't gonna tell you no long joke. This is a little short joke. These guys were sitting around, and all of a sudden, the devil came in. And all of them jumped and ran out except one. And the guy looked back and said, man, that's the devil. Ain't you going to run? No, I've been married to his sister for 10 years.
Woo.
You get that one?
Yes. Woo wee. Oh, my goodness.
That's where it was me. I was married to the devil's sister. But I would never say nothing bad about her because she was a very good woman. Long as we ain't together.
Woo wee. Now, I will tell me. Now, I was also reading this, but please tell me if I got this right. I read somewhere that you, when you're doing a show, that you don't prepare set lists. Is that right?
No.
Okay. And so you just play what you feel. Talk to me about you're able, when you go out, you want to try to sense where the audience is. How do you figure that out?
Well, see, like always, I love to play with real good musicians because I don't want to stretch out. I'm not going to do it. Play something that they can't handle. But the musicians I play with, man, they to be the top cat. So say like I'm in a place and I'm playing, and I see 2 or 3 tables of black people. Now, black people, what they say about it jumping and down home blues. That's a black thing, up and down. So I probably do that song. But white people, it don't make them no different. They don't know nothing about Z.G. Hill.
Oh man!
And I know you know who Liv Milton is.
Oh, absolutely.
Guess what? White folks don't.
Oh.
And he's one of the greatest singers you ever wanted to see.
Yeah.
But it was just his music didn't cross over. But not like Ray Charles. That's a white person's thing. Bobby Blue Bland, did you know he didn't cross over till he did that record with B.B. King?
Yes, that's right.
So that's the way I do my sets according to the audience. Suppose I got a young crowd of people. They don't want to hear no blues, but I have a band to do the Temptations, the Four Tops, and Ray Charles, and different stuff that I know they're familiar with. But I play for some audience, they don't know who I am. Did you ever hear of Lagunitas?
Yes,
Well, I played there 5 years, and they still don't know who I am.
Oh, no.
Now, not that they help. Oh, I have, say the place would have 300 people, because it was a real big place. And I might have maybe, I'd say 10 or 15 people that come to see me play from the advertisement. But most of them, they don't know who I am. It's in a different thing. But now I play, I can play a lot of different kinds of music. And when I played it live with Denise, I played solo with 2 pieces. So if I play solo, I don't have to look around. Hey, man, you know this song?
Right. You can just go ahead and do it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But there's some songs I can't do. I can do them solo, but they don't come out right. I don't do them.
Absolutely.
But now I do. I guess you knew I played piano.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and I was watching you play the piano on yesterday afternoon too. I want to put a plug out for that. You've been doing some live performances on Facebook on Saturdays. Is that every Saturday?
Oh yeah, 2:00.
Okay, every Saturday at 2:00, Facebook Live. I want to make sure to put that out.
When you play my record, tell them people.
Yeah. Absolutely, we can definitely do that.
Do you know that's the only gig I played since March the 12th? I played in the studio with no audience. I won't play with an audience. And you know what space is that?
Yes, up in Evanston.
Well, I played there, but all we had was the musicians and the camera crew.
Wow.
And then everybody had to have on a mask.
Ooh.
Man, I can't afford to get that virus. My daughter and my granddaughter, they live with me, and they go to work every day. But I started watching them, and my daughter, she's a nurse, and she really be protected when she goes.
I understand. I
He
completely
even have
understand.
he had the heel, a couple of pair of gloves, and whenever she finished with one person, she is going to sanitize her hands. So she's pretty cool with it. But I still worry about them bringing it home.
I bet I understand completely. I completely understand that is that this virus is definitely no joke. So I completely understand. I,
Well, on November the 25th, I will be 92 years old.
you know what? You just I was you stole the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say that you will be so you'll be turning 92 in November. My goodness, you had a I want to, and I also want to mention last in 2019, you were recognized by the city of Chicago when Mayor Lightfoot declared Jimmy Johnson Day on June 7th.
Yeah, that was a real treat.
I know it was, and you did a great show out there in Millennium Park. I'd love to know. Talk to me as you think about and let me make sure I'm getting this number right, because based on what you told me, you've been out here, you've been performing for 62 years. Is that
Yep.
right? Okay.
Yep. But now my first guitar gig, I was 29.
Okay. Wow. And so you've been performing for 62 years. Talk to me when to the young musicians that are coming up and coming musicians that want to get out here. What kind of advice would you give to the young up and coming musicians?
Well, I guess you probably know we don't have too many of them that play music. They went off into this rap thing, and that's what every young person want to do is rap, because that's what I call it, the easy way out. You don't have to have talent. All you got to do is come up with some lyrics. Because Who Let the Dogs Out? That was a hit song. And you got to have something that would catch people's attention. But to me, there's no young musicians coming along. That's the sad part.
Well,
except the white boys still play, but their playing is totally different from ours.
Well, I know we've got a few promising young musicians coming up, and I hope that we've got a few of them out here. And,
it's a very few.
Woo! But we've got
now we have like in their 50s, because we got Mike Wheeler, Billy Branch. He's around. He's up in his 60s. I think he's close to 70. So I don't call them young. This guy Catfish, you know who he is?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. We know Kingfish.
Oh, Kingfish.
Yes, Kingfish.
Well, I didn't know him, and he came to my birthday party. What about year before last? Him and I looked at him, and he wanted to sit in. Man, I'm gonna let you sit in on my gig, and he really impressed me on guitar.
Kingfish, that's a bad man right there.
He can play.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
And he can play blues.
Yes, he can. I enjoy listening. I enjoy playing his music too. We play his music over here on the program as well. I enjoy Kingfish quite a bit. A great rising star in the blues scene for certain.
And I guess he's only 21 years old.
Yes.
But now he's 22.
Okay, yes. I was about to say, I think he's. I couldn't remember his exact age, but I know he's definitely young, and so that's the future.
When I met him, he was 21.
Okay. Wonderful.
So he's 22 or 23.
He's right around there. Either way, he's definitely the new face of the blues. He's definitely.
Yeah, And I saw another guy, I keep forgetting his name, and where was from St. Louis. He's probably around 30 now, but he was real good.
Oh, you're talking about Marquise Knox.
Yep.
Okay, yes, Marquise Knox. That's another bad that's another bad man right there, Marquise Knox. Yes.
Yeah, well, I didn't know who he was. Do you remember Eric Davis?
Oh yes, I sure do.
Well, you know, he got killed.
I know.
And I was at his funeral, and they was playing music, and this cat from St. Louis got up and played. At that time, I think he was somewhere in his early 20s. And, man, he impressed me.
I'm trying to think back to that. I was at that funeral, too, but you know what? I have to think back to that. I'm sitting here thinking back to the funeral now. You're saying Marquise Knox was at the funeral for Eric Guitar Davis?
I think that was it. I think that was his name, but he was young, and he was from St. Louis, and he knew Eric Davis, so he came to his funeral, and they was playing. I didn't play, but they was playing, and I heard him play. You know Ronnie Brooks, right?
Oh yes, absolutely. I do know Ronnie.
So Ronnie was there that day, and Ronnie played, but I didn't play. I didn't want to play.
It was a sad occasion, and it was definitely a sad day for the blues too. I miss Eric Davis.
Yeah, it was. Well, did you know Eric Davis' pop?
Bobby Davis.
I know you don't want to know him. That was one crazy man.
Yes, Bobby Davis had a blues show on Can TV, one of the Channel 19 or Channel 25.
Whatever it was. Every time I see him, he want me to go on the show. Man, I don't want to go nowhere. Bobby Davis was crazy.
Woo-wee.
Yeah, he was one crazy man. He was talented. He could play drums, but his keyboard playing was kind of out to me.
Well,
he played keyboards and drums. He was a very good drummer.
I remember he was playing. I remember when he played keyboards. I definitely remember. Oh yes, Bobby Davis. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What? So let me ask you this: so as you think about your career and what you've been able to do, I know you've been inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame, and I know you've been a Blues Music Award recipient. As you think about the accomplishments you've had and the music you've recorded and individuals you worked with, is there anything, is there something else that you would like to do while you're recording, while you're working, hopefully when we get to normal at some point, but is there anything else that you have a goal to achieve or anything out there that you'd like to do?
Well, when I got to the Hall of Fame, where else is there to go? I don't know no other place to go. If you get to the Hall of Fame, I think you really accomplished something.
Absolutely, you sure did, and I congratulate you on that because that is definitely an accomplishment, and it's well deserved too.
Well, I'm glad you think so. I probably think so too.
I think so, and I think I definitely love to see when our legends are acknowledged. When they are acknowledged, and I'm glad that Mayor Lightfoot acknowledged you as well at the last year's Chicago Blues Festival, because I think that was also well deserved too.
Well, I really appreciate it because you know what? When she was running, I liked Lightfoot. She was the best one for the gig.
I know, yeah. A lot of people do like her. Absolutely, we do. A lot of us were cheering for her, rooting for her.
Yeah, she probably done made a lot of people mad because she want to shut down everything. But guess what? She got the right idea. They talking about opening up them schools. You can't do that, man. We got to get a handle on this virus. It ain't easy to sit down and every day you used to hanging out in bars. But just wait. If everybody wore masks and no socializing, do you know that virus would die out in about a month or two?
Well, I sure hope it would die out because this is
Well, it's transmitted by people, ain't it?
right. You are yes.
So how you gonna get it if you don't get it from another person? Nobody goes by the rules.
You are definitely right about that, and we definitely need more people
Yep.
to take it seriously. You are definitely right about that.
If they would do that, but now this couldn't be just the United States. It would have to be all over the world.
Right.
Because all it takes is one. You
Right.
can get, say, 100 people in one and that got the virus. And you're going to come out of there, 30 or 40 of them going to have it.
Right. Right. Well, so, Mr. Johnson, I want to know, can you, I want to make sure that you're able to share with our listening audience out here. Is there anything that you would like, any words of advice or anything that you want our audience to know before we wrap up our interview? But also, I want to make sure that we're. Well, I do want to ask you if you could cut a radio promo for the Blues and News with Brother Jacob program before we go. But is there anything that you want the audience to know? And can you also remind us about what time they can find you on Facebook Live?
That's every Saturday at 2:00 sharp. And I'll probably be doing this long as this is my only outlet for a gig. And you asked me about what advice would I give to the young people. I don't know if I gave you the right. I didn't finish what I was going to say. I went off into another conversation. But what I would advise him to do, you can still do the rap if you really want to, but get you an instrument and learn how to play. That would be my advice. Because this rap thing, it lasts longer than I thought it would. But I would get me an instrument and learn how to play.
Okay. I like that advice. Learn how to play an instrument. Great.
Yep.
Great. Thank you. Well, Mr. Johnson, we appreciate you, and we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today on this Sunday evening, to just talk a little bit about yourself and some of your experiences and what you've been through, down through the years. Do you, before we go, would you mind cutting a little promo for the radio station?
What is this? Jacob Blues?
There's a Blues and News with Brother Jacob.
Well, look, everybody, my name is Jimmy Johnson. So please look up it's on the internet, right?
That's right. You can say, even if you tell them, you can tell them Buddy Guy Radio, or you can tell them to listen to Buddy Guy Radio. That's fine. But Blues and News with Brother Jacob is what's most important.
Okay. Hello, my name is Jimmy Johnson. I play the blues, I live the blues, and I love the blues. But listen to Brother Jacob News. I don't know the name of the radio station. Oh, Buddy Guy's Radio.
Well,
and I don't have it in front of me where you find it at.
We'll work it out. And what I might do too is I may call you and we can do another one. But that was close to. I like how that one was going. Well,
oh man, you can call me at any time. This fine with me. Oh. Your listeners gonna be mad at you, man. You done spent a whole hour talking to me.
I see my listeners are listening. You know they're listening to this interview, and honestly, I think so many people got excited that I was interviewing you this evening. I have not seen listenership like this in quite some time. So there's a lot of people tuned in from all across the country, from Maine to California, that wanted to hear from you. So we definitely have a lot of people who are interested and want to hear this interview. So we all appreciate your interview, and we thank you for your time.
Okay, is this only satellite radio?
This is online. This is BuddyGuyRadio.com. And thank you for reminding me, because I need to tell everyone they're listening to Buddy Guy Radio, and they can tune in on BuddyGuyRadio.com.
Yeah, you just look up Buddy Guy radio station.
Yep. If you look
BuddyGuy.com.
If you go to BuddyGuyRadio.com, you'll be able
to
to find
BuddyGuyRadio.com.
Yep, that's it. Yep, that is it. Absolutely. And I can give you I can definitely call you this week.
That's fine with me.
And we'll make sure you get a copy of the interview too. But I thank you so much.
Man, Jacob, you're welcome, man. It's nice talking to you.
It's nice talking to you too, and we're definitely going to play some more of your music, and we're going to be pushing that Every Day of Your Life album because it's great, and we're definitely going to keep pushing it, and I'm definitely going to push those live sessions because I really enjoyed watching you play yesterday, and I definitely want to make sure everybody else is also playing too.
All right. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I will call you sometime this week, and we'll get that promo together too.
Man, I'm at home mostly every day, all day. I might go to Best Buy or something once in a while, but I usually be at home all day, every day.
My goodness. Well, we're glad that you're staying safe at home. And so we're happy about that. And if we can keep Catch the Blues every Saturday at 2:00 on Facebook Live, and we just go to your page. I'm happy I
have a home, but I ain't happy because I have to stay in it. Ain't nothing no more gratifying than going play a gig.
Yes. Well, hopefully soon everything will get back to normal so we can play these gigs again.
Well, that's about all we can hope for.
Yes.
And while we're on the air, I would like to remind people you got a few more days. Go out and vote.
Yes, that's right. Thank you for saying that.
If you don't vote, you're gonna have to put up with something somebody else voted for. But you get your say so in. You might say, I don't like either one of them. They ain't got nothing to do with it. You're gonna like one a little more than you do the other one.
That's right.
Just vote.
That's right.
I can't tell you who to vote for, but vote.
Yes. Thank you.
Just look at the situation the way it is and vote for something that you think can improve it. That'll be your choice.
Yes, absolutely. Go out and vote. Everybody go out and vote. Make sure you vote, early vote. And early vote, you can vote by mail. You got all the different options to vote. So I thank you.
Well, I done voted already. I voted by mail. I did mine and dropped it in the box. And I hope they count mine.
Yes. I hope they. I want them. I know they're going to count mine too. So every vote counts, and that's what's important. And I thank you so much for bringing it. You bringing up everything that's good, and I got comments too from Miss Deitra Farr saying she loves this interview. This is a great interview, and quite a few other folks are chiming in saying they really enjoyed this interview. So I want to thank you for taking the time and talking with us today, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, well, you sent the email to where to find this, but you just put in BuddyGuy.com. It'll come up. Yeah. And I'm going to remember you being on every Sunday, so I'm going to probably listen to you.
All right. That sounds good to me. And I'll make sure to send another email and give you a call. We'll make sure you get all that information.
All right.
Well, you take care, Mr. Johnson, and we'll talk. Me and you will talk later on, but thank you again.
Okay, brother Jacob, you be cool, man, and be safe.
All right, thank you. You too.
All right, later.
All right, later. That was the legendary Jimmy Johnson, who I'm so glad we were able to talk to for an hour, over an hour, I believe, and about an hour, and man, just to hear some of the things, some of the stories and experiences and the insight that he has is just amazing. We're going to make sure that this whole show is being recorded, and I will be putting a copy of the interview on YouTube. Some of you may want to know why I don't put the whole archive shows up anymore, but what I'm doing is focusing on the interviews, and we're preserving that, and so we have a YouTube page that I'm building up and putting these interviews on there. So we'll definitely let you know when that's up there. The great Jimmy Johnson, I sure do appreciate him talking with me this evening. Let me see if I can do this. I know what we're gonna do. I'm going to play that song he was talking about, My Ring. That's what I want to do. I want to play My Ring since he talked about it. Blues and news of Brother Jacob. It's time for the blues. Let me see if I can do this. It's 8:05. We're here till 9 o'clock this evening. Here we go. Blues and news with Brother Jacob. I'm going to see if I can make this work. Let me see if I can make it work now. All right now. Here we go. Come on with it. Let's see if I got it.